The mocking nature, like let's have fun with Satan, let's have fun with evil. It's kind of what, when you read the Bible, it's kind of what the Bible almost says that Satan and evil would do. Hey guys, thanks for watching the YouTube videos. Today we're talking about Lil Nas X, his music video where he's dancing with Satan and he's putting blood in shoes and pentagrams and they're Satan shoes. What are we supposed to do as Christians when we're thinking about this? Let's talk about it.
Rapper Lil Nas X is making a lot of news today over a new line of controversial sneakers. NBC Out associate editor Joe Yerkaba joins us now to talk a little bit more about this. Joe, let's start with these sneakers first. They're being called Satan shoes. What do we know about these?
Yes, the Satan shoes are a collaboration with a company called Mischief, and Lil Nas X is selling 666 pairs of them, or I should say sold, because they sold out in about a minute. They're $1,018 each, and they're modified Nike Air Max 97s, and they reportedly contain a drop of blood in a sole from the Mischief employees. So they're causing quite a controversy online right now.
Wait a minute. Any verification of that at this point, or is that just, do we think that's really just a marketing tactic?
The company confirmed to NBC News yesterday that there is a drop of blood in the sole, apparently.
Obviously the internet blew up about this. Conservatives were like, hey, you're dropping blood, you're having all this satanic imagery and all of that. And I think, there's a few things that we gotta recognize with these things. So the first is a lot of this stuff, when Christians freak out about it, whether that's Harry Potter or celebrating Halloween or these kind of things, when we come to these kind of things, we gotta recognize that, as the broadcaster talked about, like, these are marketing stunts, these are marketing ploys. A lot of this stuff, it's about money. Everyone kind of walks into these things and goes, why did this artist do that? Or why did this artist do that? The answer to 99.9% of questions in life is money, especially when it comes to celebrities and what they do. So this was obviously a marketing ploy. It's kind of like that shock jock philosophy. Let's get people talking, let's get people's attention. No press is bad press kind of scenario. And I think that's what, obviously he's trying to do. I think there's probably a reaction to his conservative Christian upbringing and kind of that reacting to the way I was raised, that deconversion philosophy, and trying to kind of make a splash. And I think that's part of it. Let me try to take it in a different direction though, because when I watch this, I think that there's an interesting angle other than Christians simply saying this is ridiculous. Obviously parts of it are ridiculous and bad in the sense of like actual pentagrams, people's blood in there. Satan isn't something to be played with. Satan is a real person, evil's real, and exposing young people and making fun of it. There's that classic line from The Usual Suspects, the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he didn't exist. And there is something to that. We have to be careful because the spiritual realm and evil and Satan, those are real things, and they're things that we need to be careful with. And there's people who've I'm a pastor. I've dealt with people who've gone down that road, and it's not something to be played with. It's not actually a joke. It's a for real thing. And that's part of the point I want to try to say, that Christians, as we respond and engage with culture, have to recognize and use almost, because what he's doing in introducing this idea is raising a conversation that Christians should lean into rather than away from. And here's what I mean by that. I know these two Christian writer-director brothers who make movies, and they make horror movies, and they're really good at what they do, and they make horror movies. And of course, Christians freak out and they go, why do you make horror movies? I can't believe you make horror movies. What would you do that for? And their response is, why would we make anything else? Meaning, we believe the spiritual realm is real, and we want people talking about it because we think it's real. There's really something behind the veil. Ephesians 6 talks about the idea that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and powers. These are real conversations that we need to be having. And rather than just making movies about a guy making money or a guy climbing a mountain, why don't we make a movie that stirs up the question of the spiritual, the spirituality, the spiritual realm, evil, demons, Satan, so that people get talking about it because we actually believe that this is something that Jesus came to defeat. 1 John talks about the idea the Son of God came into the world to defeat the works of the devil. we rarely talk about that, right? And so there's this sense in which I remember reading Russell Moore, who's this uber conservative Baptist, thinker. In one of his books recently, he opens the book by talking about his favorite family tradition and holiday growing up. It wasn't Christmas, it wasn't Easter, it was Halloween. And he said they used to go trick-or-treating and they used to dress up and he used to see the skeletons and the zombies. And he said it was his favorite because this was real. This was something that once a year the world was reminded that there is a spiritual reality to the decisions we make, to the universe that we live in. There are things going on that we need to be talking about. We need to actually be addressing. And I think sometimes Christians, they don't leverage these moments and have the right kind of conversations. We tend to just react and cast disparagements. And I think we need to learn how to lean into these cultural conversations.
Lil Nas X just released a single, and apparently it's getting a heated response too.
Yes, his new single is called Montero, Call Me By Your Name. And so the name itself includes a reference to a novel that's about a gay romance. So it's pretty clear that the single is connected to him talking about his sexuality publicly. The lyrics also include a line where he talks about how we hide parts of ourselves that we don't want the world to see. And the single and the music video that he released alongside of it are a lot about the idea of sin. And in the music video specifically, there's a lot of biblical looking imagery. Satan is featured in the video. And that's sort of where the controversy arises, is that there's a lot of not safe for work content in the video featuring Satan and like these ideas of sin. And Lil Nas X at one point dances with the devil. So that is causing some parents to kind of speak out.
I think what happens is the mocking nature, like let's have fun with Satan, let's have fun with evil. It's kind of what, when you read the Bible, it's kind of what the Bible almost says that Satan and evil would do. I remember when I grew up, I used to read a couple of these novels where, Satan would be like, it was kind of a horror movie, right? It was like Satan was on the mirror and he was like, man, he's biting being, he's talking, and you're like, oh my goodness. And I'm sure that those things happen, but from a Christian perspective, those things are too obvious, right? If you're sitting in the mirror and all of a sudden claws come across your mirror, for a naturalist, it's like, oh my goodness, there's a Satan. I can't believe it. That must mean there's a God, there's a spiritual realm. It's more in the subtleties of how we, of course, the Bible sets us up that Satan works through the systems and the temptations, and it's money and power and sexuality and the way that we, are narcissists and the way that we do things for ourselves and the way, all of these things are the things that evil works through in our life personally and also socially, kind of the micro and the macro. And I think by just going, oh, look, there's a guy with horns and I'm dancing with him, almost makes a mockery of it, and it creates a scenario where Satan probably is happy with the distraction that people think that that's me and that's how stupid I am and that's how localized I am and that's how powerless I am. We forget, we get these classic images of, Satan's ruling over hell and he's sitting there, and the Bible goes, no, Satan's not ruling over hell. Jesus rules over the entire universe and he's sovereign and reigning over all things, and Satan is a defeated foe. And so anytime we're highlighting him as this and mocking him, he probably likes it because we're just classically, like we think in the Western world, we're distracted thinking that's the way he is when he's really not. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like this video, share it with your friends. Thanks for watching it, guys.